Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
And I'm Jerry Porter.
And today we are discussing Minute 11. And Minute 11 begins with some well-toned legs walking over Barranca's dead body. And it ends with the owner of those legs being ridiculously happy.
First of all, you find out that this dusty rogue that we've been following is actually a doctor.
Yeah, that was my first note. Oh, it turns out his name is Dr. Jones.
Yeah, Dr. Jones. And you're kind of thinking like a medical doctor or what, you don't know what kind of doctor. But then he says, I'm misquoting here a little bit, paraphrasing, but there's nothing that you cannot possess that I cannot take.
Yeah.
And I thought, just as an aside, God, what a wonderful relationship that would be. Just like if you knew somebody and whatever they had, you could take. Just at sort of at your will. But he says, he chose the wrong friends. He doesn't. It's at first you're like, well, he can't get good help. Maybe that's the problem. And you're like, no, obviously Belloq did the right thing. He hired the Javitos.
Yeah, you got to kind of hand it to him. He hired his homework a little more than Indy.
And maybe not hired, but he ingratiated himself.
He learned the language for one thing.
That's the thing I was gonna say. He says, if first you choose bad friends, and if only you spoke Javitos.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to what Pete's been bringing up, where he says, this is kind of, again, 2-bit archaeology hack stuff, where you're going to go deep into South America. You're going to steal, what appears to be a remote tribe's most prized possession, their fertility goddess. And you're clearly risking life and limb and all that. And you don't speak Javitos.
Yeah.
You're like, so it makes me wonder, he's just a gold greedy,
Well, it's like we said last
guy
week.
Who's gonna.
It's like, yeah, we said he's got a plan, but he doesn't really have a plan. He's got he did some of his homework, and then he was going to copy off the kid next to him or something.
But see, I think go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think the Jovitos thing's a little bit strange too, though, because it's not the language of the people whose temple they're exploring. It's the modern language of the people that they're visiting.
Yeah, but you still want to be able to, I agree. If he knew what he was doing, he would know that they were the ones to talk to, that they were the ones to, appease and be like, I'm just going to take it for a little while, and I'm going to put it in a museum for 1,000 years, and then I'll bring it back, I promise.
Well, I'm just saying Belloq earned this. I mean, if he took, I don't know how long it would take him to learn Jovitos, all for this 2-minute encounter he has with Dr. Jones to take the idol, I think that's pretty impressive.
That is. Maybe it's taught in France in high school or something.
Yeah, so you can take shop, you can take Javitos, geometry.
Well, I wanted to quickly get back to with the way Belloq says that you chose the wrong friends. It made me wonder, we were kind of wondering this back and forth over the last couple of weeks, but do you think Barranca and Satipo were both moles? Were they actually working for Belloq? Or they knew that he was waiting at the other end?
Wow.
Not to speak ill of the dead, I'm just saying. You got to wonder.
Or, I think it meant more, well, I don't know about Satipo, but Barranca, I mean, you should have chosen somebody that was going to stick with you and try to steal this idol rather than sort of a hero who's going to try to protect the idol from you.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So going back to the previous minutes where it's like, throw me the idol, I'll throw you the whip. So was Satipo going to take the idol and be like, oh, here, Belloq?
Here, boss.
Yeah, just like we planned.
Yeah, he's got to be dead in there by now.
Yeah, and are they wrong friends because they betrayed him, or are they wrong friends just because they won't do whatever he tells them to do?
Or they didn't teach him Javitos.
Oh, they didn't teach him Javitos, or none of them survived long enough to speak Javitos to when they come out.
Yeah, your friends were too easy to shoot with darts.
Right. Which I'm glad you brought that up. I did notice in this scene, there is a guy in the background with a blowgun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, officially.
You feel better now.
Yes, he officially has the blowgun. Apparently, the arrow guys are just menacing.
Yeah. Well, that's probably more like a close quarters sort of thing. Like maybe the blow dart is more like sneaking up on a dude and getting him when he's not aware.
Well, it gives us insight into how they actually ambush Barack.
We're already more knowledgeable about the Javitos than Indy is.
That's what bothers me. Is you're like, right now, Belloq's already the better archaeologist.
Yeah, maybe he's the hero of the movie. We'll have to see. We'll see how this plays out. Speaking of Belloq, I like the way, without, like, wordlessly, he holds out his hand twice, and each time Indy knows exactly what to hand over to him. Like, first he holds out the hand for the gun, and then he holds out the hand for the idol.
Well, and I like when he hands him the gun, you see that he already has his whip in his hand. Like, he'd already had to give up his whip.
Oh, really? I missed that.
I think so. Now I have to rewatch the minute.
Yeah, me too. Because he has it later.
Yeah. Oh, Indy does? Well, that was a question I had. He does have the whip later, but did he have to buy a new one?
Wait, I'm going to go back and look right now, because I got to see if he's got his whip on him. I mean, if Belloq has his whip.
I don't think you can. I mean, I feel like you don't just buy a bullwhip. Like
no, I mean, he's got to
your
bring
Indiana
that thing in.
Yeah, it's like either...
He's got the bullwhip. Belloq has the... I just checked it out.
Get out of here. Where? Wait, I'm looking at it too. You mean on his hip? That's like a riding crop or something.
Yeah, well, it looks like a coiled... He's got something coiled in his hand.
Huh. I don't... Oh, he does have something. I don't think that's his whip, though.
You don't think... Okay.
He does have something. I mean, well... Gosh. I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm going to say he does not have his whip. I mean, that Belloq does not have Indy's whip. I don't want to believe that he does. I don't want to live in that world.
It made me wonder, though, does Indy have a whole closet full of bull whips at home? Like, what does he do? Like, if that is his whip.
He's like Einstein. He just puts on that exact outfit every day. He's got 15 of them.
It brings up the point. You're like, well, certain characters or certain people, like Chewbacca always has a crossbow. Like, he doesn't go and have to buy a new crossbow at Walgreens or Walmart, wherever you do it. I feel like Indy, he has one bullwhip.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My son, as we're watching Star Wars movies, he's like really obsessed with what guns everybody has, and he'll be like, "Wait, that's not the gun that Princess Leia has on, in the Death Star." I'm like, "Well, that's not her gun. She got that from a stormtrooper, and now she's got a gun from a, Cloud City guard or something." But but in this case, there's one whip, there's one, I guess he has to get a new pistol now. Indy does, because he gave that to Belloq.
Yeah, it's less iconic.
It is. Guns are a dime a dozen.
Is Belloq, when he does his, is he speaking Javitos? Like, that's what I know. Do we only hear two words of, or one word uttered twice, but it's actually Javitos? Like, is he saying, like, go get him now?
Well, I want to know what he actually means. Like, is he saying go kill that guy, or is he saying go get him, like bring him back here? Because it seems like he's saying go kill that guy, because because they all like book after him with their arrows flying and their darts flying and everything. But like, doesn't quite seem right. Like, it doesn't seem like Belloq would be like, oh yeah, I gotta kill Indiana Jones now. I got this idol from him, and I'm gonna have the... Although maybe he would. If he gets killed in the woods, in the jungle, no one's ever gonna know.
They're not gonna come back to Belloq.
Yeah.
I had the same question because he's all, well manicured and everything, and you're like, oh, he's presentable in the middle of the
Yeah.
Seems like a mannered guy. But I was like, so does Indiana Jones is he just supposed to die with the poisoned arrows in his back? And Belloq's like, well, so it is,
He seems more like a pistols at dawn kind of guy. Like, he wouldn't just have a bunch of his hired hands chase down his age-old enemy.
Well, it also seems like Indiana Jones is kind of Belloq's bread and butter. So if he kills him, he's going to have trouble finding the next artifact.
Yeah, he's going to have to do his own work from now on.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point.
Because already Forrestal's dead. If Indy's dead, I mean, I don't know who would be next on the list.
Yeah, really.
And from what little I know of this guy, he seems like the type of guy who gets other people to do his bidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did learn Jovitos. That's as you said, to his credit, that's kind of.
It makes you wonder what he could accomplish if he just would do his own work instead of stealing off of Indiana Jones all the time. Bum.
Tommy doesn't apply himself.
Belloq doesn't apply himself. He copies off of the archaeologist next to him.
He does say something funny in the very first moment of this minute, though. He says, again, we see there's nothing you can possess which I cannot take away. And then he says, and you thought I'd given up. And I was wondering about that line.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, maybe Belloq's been laying low.
Yeah, and how does he know that Indy thinks he's given up? Like, does he just assume he's let his guard down by hiring Satipo, or does he...
Or maybe he wanted Indy to think that he had given up, and he, like, sort of calculated that. He was like, okay, I'm gonna act like I've given up and let him get his guard down.
And I'm gonna be waiting here.
Yeah.
Right at the exit point.
One of these years, Indiana Jones is going to go after this idol, and I'm going to be here waiting for him.
But I think what bothered me, though, is why he wants that. He's so driven to get that idol, specifically that idol, and he doesn't speak Jovitos.
Yeah,
and that's where you're like, why is he so into that particular, is he just, it's like I said, that's the idol from chapter 21.
Yeah.
Well, I like this. This is sort of the best, I think, of George Lucas. I mean, he gives us the feeling that this is another part of a long serial. There's there are hints of so much backstory. Like, why does Indy want this idol so much? Obviously, he's come across this Belloq guy several times. Obviously, he's come across this Forrestal guy. There's such a large universe back there.
Yeah.
That they just hint at. I think imagining it is fantastic.
Well, yeah, within 1 minute, we get everything really we need to know about Belloq. And, it might be everything we do learn about Belloq, I don't know how much more of his backstory we get other than they know each other and he's a jerk and he takes stuff from him.
Yeah, his family had a wine label.
It's true. He grew up with a wine label. Travels the desert with a dress. Just in case.
What's with the jungle echo?
Huh?
The maniacal laugh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's French.
Oh, okay. I wonder if maybe that's like a magical part of the forest or something.
That's why he turned. He aimed right for the kind of echoey curvature of the rock that would give him exactly the right timbre and echo as Indy runs away.
I like he's just such an alpha male in this minute. I mean, the minute begins with him just hovering over Indy, and the shot is just sort of a Belloq's crotch. And it ends with him laughing like the biggest villain in the world.
Yeah. Like he hasn't gotten bit by one mosquito this entire time he's been in the jungle. Like nothing has gone wrong for him. He's doing fine.
He's wearing like a nice watch.
Yeah. His socks are straight.
Yeah, he's straight up wearing a watch in the middle of exactly. He hasn't gotten a single mosquito bite.
Yeah. That actually, now I hadn't really thought of that. It's like an excellent, maybe one of the best villain introductions.
Yeah, everything about it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There's actually also a historical precedent for Belloq. And I don't know if when they were coming up with the character, they had this in mind, but there was actually a French, I don't know if he was actually an archaeologist. He called himself a race scientist during the years before World War II. And he actually did a lot of exploration in South America and talked about the Chachapoya people who are have the temple here with the idol. And his theory was that the Chachapoyan people were descendants of the Vikings and therefore were Aryans. And so he was this strange French racist guy who was a Nazi collaborator.
Nice.
Wow.
And from that you get Belloq.
Yeah, for that it would explain the bowl haircuts.
Nothing explains the bowl haircuts.
No. Well, one of the best things about the scene is you're like, Indy loses.
Yeah.
So easily, like he's and I don't know. As a loser myself, I can identify. You can identify. You're like, it's actually just because you're sitting there along the ride. You're like, he had to fend. He had to bullwhip Barranca. He had to, encourage Tipo to go into the cave. You had to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Knock the spiders off. Then grabs the Tipo, run through the whole thing.
Yeah, like in a traditional sort of story arc, like whatever, like an hour in or an hour and a half in, the characters are supposed to be at their lowest point, and how are they gonna? He's lost already. He's lost 11 minutes into this movie.
And he comes out and it seems unfair. You're like, he truly, what we say, he did all the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who's saying there's nothing which you can't possess that I can't take away. And you're like, that sucks.
Yeah. Why is he even going to try?
Yeah.
You just go home and teach some more.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, you're kind of like, oh, Indy, he's like touchable. He's not like, sometimes in the James Bond, like, some of the more manicured ones of the 80s or whatever, you're like, oh, come on, he never loses anything, you know what I mean? He just does everything all the time, whatever he wants. And you're like, no, Indy actually he kind of takes it on this one.
Yeah, at the beginning of his own movie, because a lot of James Bond movies begin with like a sort of the ending of a completely unrelated story or case or something, and but that story always ends with James Bond totally kicking ass and saving the day and being awesome. But yeah, Indy's kind of like, God damn it. Already.
There's a conspiracy theory that has got around. I don't know where it came from. And this one I don't actually buy into. But I've heard people say that Indiana Jones is actually irrelevant to this movie, that if he were not in this movie, everything would have basically happened the same way anyway. And I guess their first piece of evidence would be this right here.
I have heard that too. But wait, without Indiana Jones, the idol would still be in the thing. It's not like Belloq is going to dirty his hands and go get it.
No, Belloq's hunting it, though. He's hunting it. Besides, Belloq would have said, hey, Jimmy, can you go get the idol?
Quit fluffing your hair and get in there.
Yeah.
Do you think Belloq sent Forrestal? Like, do you think Forrestal was his first hope, and then? I
want to say that's a good point, though. Why didn't he follow Forrestal? Or maybe he did, and he's been there like for years since Forrestal went in there. Sooner or later, that Jones guy's going to show up.
Well, Belloq clearly he clearly wants the idol. So the idol wouldn't just be sitting there.
Yeah, but
still, Indy's the one who got it. I'm going to say that Indiana Jones makes a bit of a difference in this movie.
I agree. I do not buy into that theory.
Crying out loud. But there'll be something to keep in mind as we go.
I do like, it's such an iconic moment when Belloq holds up the idol, though.
Yeah.
And he's Okama Matuso, and everybody just bows down.
As a budding film nerd, as a kid when this was out originally, it always bothered me that when Indy hands the idol to Belloq, there's still webbing all over it, and it's like actually attached to Indy still by webbing. But then when he stands up and holds it, and you get that close up turning to them, it's gone. We go, come on, guys, make an effort, some continuity, please. All right. Does anybody have anything else for minute 11? Nah.
Nah,
Going twice?
I'm good. Belloq. I like his Ralph Lauren.
Yeah.
Little, yeah, it's nice.
Comes out smelling like a rose.
Yeah.
Well, Pete, where can these nice people try to get in touch with us if they so desire?
Well, if you like the show, please come to IndianaJonesMinute.com. We have lots of fun things there. You can find all of our episodes. You can subscribe to us via iTunes or download the podcast directly from our website. We also have a section where we talk about the latest in archaeological and grave robbing news, if that's your thing. You can find us several other places, Twitter, Facebook. We have lots of interaction with you on our Facebook page, so please give us a listen, give us a look.
Yes, and please join us tomorrow for minute 12 of Raiders of the Lost Ark right here on the Indiana Jones Minute. Belloq!
I choose the wrong friend.